How's it going, guys? My name is Tavarish, and today we are resurrecting my cheap Lamborghini's broken radio. And I don't exactly have any money to do it, so it better be cheap. So for those of you new to my channel, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys like it. If you like it enough to hit the subscribe button, that would be very much appreciated by myself. But if you're not new to the channel, then you guys know that this is my 2008 Lamborghini Gallardo Spider, and I recently got it running, and it sounds really, really good. But even though the exhaust and the engine sound really good, the interior of the car, mainly the sound system, doesn't actually work. When I first got the car, it had this stereo system, this Pioneer AVIC 800 NEX touchscreen navigation thing installed, and it actually did work. But since I was rooting around down there and I was touching things and finding out what worked and what didn't, I heard a pop, and then this didn't turn on anymore. So that leads me to believe that there's an electrical problem somewhere in this car's wiring or fuse box or something. Now, the fuse box is down there. There's actually two fuse boxes, one behind me right here and one down there. So I've actually checked both fuse boxes, and I've checked every single fuse. I've checked them for continuity, and all the fuses check out. So that leads me to believe that there might be a wiring issue with this, or there might be an internal fuse with the system itself. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna try to get some tune skis out of this radio, and in order to do that, we have to take off basically everything. We have to take off the entire center console. I've never done this before, but it can't be that hard. A car is a car. We just have to start off by taking off some trim. Now, I want to make sure that I'm not breaking anything because everything here is very, very expensive. I mean, just this part right here probably costs many, many thousands of dollars, and I want to take care of it, so I'm not going to be using any screwdrivers on these parts because they are plastic. They're probably brittle plastic, but they're also leather covered. So I'm just going to use this plastic tool right here, and I believe we have to take this off. But before I take this off, I think I have to take off the shifter, and the shifter might be just a, yep, there we go. Then I have to take off this surround. Then I have to take off the climate control, and then we can finally get to this. I think I'm not making this harder than it has to be. Hopefully I don't break anything in the process. I'm really, really scared of that. Actually, before we work, I want to show you guys what I mean, just so you guys know what I'm talking about when I say it doesn't turn on. The car is in the on position, and this should turn on, but nothing comes up. Press all the buttons and nothing lights up. So this is what we're combating here. There probably is a issue with the power supply or something not getting to this radio. So, okay, now let's get to work. Okay, now that we have everything taken apart, we can see that this is just a kind of a rat's nest. I don't even see where they made the patch harness. Usually, when you connect an aftermarket radio, you have to have a patch harness, meaning that you leave the stock harness intact. I think this is one of those shops that just cut off the stock harness and then just put on their own, which is going to be interesting to wire back. But this is the radio. Right here. It does not seem like it's burnt or anything like that, so internally it might be okay, but I just wanted to check this thing. This is a little fuse right here, and usually this only goes if there's an internal problem, but we're going to check it anyway, so I'm just going to pull it, and we can see, alright, that actually looks pretty good. That's a good fuse. So we're going to put that back, and we know our problem is elsewhere. And it's a good thing, and it's also a bad thing. Good thing that I don't have to buy a new radio, but it's a bad thing because I have no idea where to start. Actually, I do have an idea. where to start. I'll start with this main wiring harness. And this wiring harness, you can see that there are different colors on the wires here. And there are 3 wires that I want to focus on, the red, the yellow, and the black. Now the black is the ground. That's a constant ground that just goes to a body bolt or something like that. That's usually a ground. And the yellow is the constant from the battery. So the battery has, it's always on. And then the red should be a switch 12 volt. So I'll have to use my multimeter right here, to see if there's voltage getting to everything. And if there's not, then I have to trace back the wires and see what's going on there, because yeah, that ain't good. Well guys, I think I may have found the problem. Check this out. If we look at this wiring, I did pull a lot of stuff out. And here is, actually this is a patch harness, so this connects to the stock connector. So that's good. I don't have to do much work. I don't have to do a lot of wiring work in case I want to install another radio. But can you take a look at this? This is what we call bad wiring. This is not how you do wiring, ladies and gentlemen. The way that they connected these wires was literally to just twist tie them together and then just put some electrical tape on them. And as always, they always just come right out. And look how many wires I simply pulled out. And they broke off at the ends here. So that's really not good. So these are actually the wires. I believe this is the Illumination Wire. And these are the speaker wires. So these wouldn't prevent my radio from turning on, but there's this thing called an access. This is actually a CAN bus converter, and this actually would prevent the radio from turning on. I know a lot of these radios do have CAN bus connectivity. Even though my car doesn't have any steering wheel controls, the CAN bus, for some reason, is necessary. So that is actually connected to here. And that is also going off of the main harness. There should be power and ground coming here. And if there isn't, that could prevent the radio from turning on or getting a turn on signal. So what I have to do now is I have to, yeah, just look down here. There's a bunch of frayed wires. So I'm gonna have to take all this apart, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to just rewire this the right way. Okay, I did some more snooping around, and check this out. More frayed wires right here. That is a red. That there actually is power going through that, so I'm gonna have to take off the negative battery terminal. And that blue wire is, yeah, it's just exposed, and this is really bad wiring work, especially for a car of this price range. This is not something that you would see on a Civic. Like this is really bad. So I'm just gonna use some regular crimp connectors, some heat shrink, and hopefully I can get this up and running. So let's get to it. Okay, so I seem to have a little bit of an issue because I can't seem to find any discrepancies in what the wiring should be. Now this is a complete rat's nest, and I have taken off the protective shielding. I've taken off the fuzzy electrical tape that they put on here just to see what wires go where. And I found a bunch of frayed wires, but they're not the power, ground, and signal wires that I need. These are only basically speaker wires and stuff that's not going to prevent this from turning on. And I did a little bit more research, and I looked at the instructions manual, the installation manual for this Pioneer unit, and it says that any aftermarket CAN bus units aren't going to prevent this thing from turning on. It only needs a power, a switch 12 volt, a constant 12 volt, and a ground to start. So we're going to check that right now, but it doesn't really look all that great because I can't see any breaks in the line. We're going to need to see 12 volts, and then we're going to need to see ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one of these probes into, this should be constant 12 volt. Then I'm going to connect the other probe to a good ground, and we should see around 12 volts. Wait, actually no, I'm on the wrong setting. Duh. Okay, now we should see a constant 12 volts. Yeah, so that was around 12.5 volts, which is good. Yeah, that's basically right on the money. And I'm going to check the switch 12 volt, which should be on right now. Yep, that's another 12.5 volts. So there's no problems with the wiring. Even though there are problems with the wiring here, there's no problems with the startup wiring. And we're gonna just check the ground just to be sure. So this is a continuity tester. And if I just touch the two prongs together, should make that beeping sound. So I'm just gonna test the ground here. I'm just gonna connect it to a ground and it should beep. All right, so what that tells me is that this, my head unit that doesn't actually look all that used, that head unit is dead. And I don't know how it got dead. I don't know how it died. Probably because of these wires rubbing up against the bracket over here. That is definitely an issue. But yeah, this does not look good. I think I'm just gonna have to replace the radio. I'm not gonna get one of these. I'm gonna get something that looks a little bit more OEM. I wasn't gonna do that for a while just because this radio is a decent radio. I mean, these things are pretty expensive. This was around 1,500 bucks when it was new. So it is a real bummer. Unless you guys can tell me what I'm missing here. Power and ground is the only thing that you're gonna need for this. And I've checked everything else. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to junk this, and then I'm gonna have to get a new radio. But for now, I'll just put it all back, and then yeah, I'll put it all back, and we'll revisit it when this gets done. I hate when this happens. I hate when I don't have a part that I need. I don't have a component of the car that's gonna make the car that much better. But the radio is a gravy item. I don't really need it to run the car. It would be nice though. It would be nice. So, okay, I'm gonna put this all back together, and then I think that's gonna be it for this video. I know it's probably a short one, but I just wanted to let you guys know how janky this wiring is, and it is plenty janky. So, I'm definitely gonna have to clean this up when I get the new radio. I'm going to, well, before I put in the old radio, I'm going to make sure all the ends aren't touching anything. There's no frayed ends, especially, look at this. Yeah, that might be our culprit there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely clean this up, but yeah, the radio install will have to wait till next time. Hopefully it should be a little bit more fruitful than this one. But I enjoy sharing this thing with you guys, this project with you guys, and I hope you guys like it. So if you want to contact me, you can do so at TheRealTavarish. That is Instagram and Twitter. Facebook.com/AskTavarish and AskTavarish@gmail.com is my email. I read every single one. You guys have been great at sending me emails. And if you want to listen to me talk about cars and wrenching and all that stuff, I have a Wrench Everyday podcast. All that stuff will be in the link in the description below. If you want to buy a shirt, links below. But until next time, this is me telling you that on cars like this that now have a rat's nest where the radio used to be, you guys need to wrench every day.